Welcome to another week of Living a Rich Life. I am your host, Rich James. Here on Living a Rich Life talk show, we intend to inform, inspire, and remind each other the importance of living a rich life through 6 principles in our network. Those principles are good health, strong relationships, financial freedom, goals and achievements, extraordinary experiences, and philanthropy. Today's guests are prime examples of individuals that will inform you, they'll definitely keep you inspired, and will remind you to stay focused and on target to live a rich life. So with that being said, let's talk about it. My first guest, my special guest, today's guest had over 62,000 streams in 2020, was heard via Spotify in 70 countries. He is a Maryland-based indie singer-songwriter. Please welcome the talented Mr. Ben DeHaan. Ben.
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
I'm doing well. So first and foremost, I'm known for tearing up some names. So did I pronounce your last name correct?
No, you got it. Yeah, DeHaan. Yes, sir.
Good deal. So thanks for joining me. I will say, especially during these times, I always like to ask my guests, so how are you holding up?
I am holding up. It's just a grind as usual for me. So trying to find enough hours in the day to, get everything done. I'm sure you can relate.
Absolutely. It's different. It's not normal like they say, but so we're trying to find that new normal is what they say during this pandemic.
Right. And it's so important to have, I think, these types of conversations because, it's a form of face-to-face interaction and long-form conversation that, we miss.
Absolutely. So let's talk music. Let's talk music and things that gets Ben DeHaan going. So first, I want to know where you're from. If you're originally from Baltimore, so tell us where you're from.
Sure. So I was born in Toledo, Ohio, but I lived there till I was like 6 months old. And I've been in the Baltimore/DC area in between in the suburb since then. So 32 and a half years. I've been in like Baltimore area. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you always know you had this music talent? Let's talk about some of that. When did you start playing, or when did you know you had the ear for music and songwriting?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I grew up with 2 music lovers for parents, and I remember being in the car and just listening to like Zeppelin or like the Beatles, and like I thought like, wow, it's just really cool. It's wild, like how they create this, like how do they do that? And then I would start to think like, how maybe I would change it. And I've talked to some people like non-musicians or in recent years, and they're like, I didn't ever think how I could change it. But really, I talked to my mom about this the other day. She bought me a guitar for my 11th birthday, and a buddy of mine bought me an album that I really liked, and they paired me with actually a really great guitar instructor, which I think is so important for having those right elements come together. And basically after that, it was just ever since since I was 11 years old. And prior to that, it was into sports and video games, like which I still enjoy, sports. And I play a couple rounds of Smash Bros, but I'm not. I don't know. It was life changing to me to have those elements come together, and I think a lot like how weird it'd be or how different it would be, had I not gotten that guitar because I had no intentions of playing music.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that was probably just something that your parents felt, hey, let's give him a guitar and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Like I mean, like I didn't know I was gonna get a guitar
Right,
for
right.
for my birthday. I was like, all right, well,
So you mentioned
try.
that you come from a musical background, so to speak. You
Yes. So my mom, she plays piano and she sings. She plays a little bit of guitar. And my dad is just an all around, music lover. He grew up in, Toledo, Ohio, with the big rock scene they had there
Mhm.
and everything. So yeah, I mean, we're a very musical family.
And that's probably what catapulted, though. That's probably what it did. So you mentioned the guitar was your first instrument. Do you play other instruments?
I do. So I play piano. I play bass. I've been playing a lot of uke lately because I have students that want to learn. Um, Obviously, I sing. I wouldn't say I play the drums, but like, I can try and hold a beat. I love drums. I love, just banging on some drums. But yeah.
Is that something you might, excuse you might decide to expand your horizon? He said, I don't necessarily play the
I
drum.
would love to. I would love to. There's nothing funner than beating the heck out of some drums. Now and then, blowing off some steam and just I don't know. It's a really cool instrument.
But the guitars are pretty. That's when I think about instruments that are sexy. We're gonna go off a little topic here.
Mhm.
The guitar is one of them. The saxophone. And
Oh
the drums.
yeah,
Those are the
yeah.
guys that
Oh yeah,
really get the action, so to speak.
yeah. Absolutely. I've
Uh,
actually been looking for some sax and some upcoming songs. So if you know someone, feel free to let me know.
okay. Um, so what was the first thing? Do you recall the very first thing that you played when you received that guitar?
Hmm. Wow. That's a good question. I've never been asked that before. I mean, it is. I do remember now. I remember my mom taught it to me. It's probably going to be a far shot for people. They probably don't know who it is, but it's. She taught me a song by the guitarist from Genesis. His name was Anthony Phillips, and he had like an acoustic side project. So Genesis is where. Are you familiar with Genesis at all?
No. Please educate me.
That's where so they were the mother band where Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins came from.
Okay, I know those.
Um yeah. Um and so there was a really great guitarist named Anthony Phillips as well in the band. And as Genesis fizzled out, he started a project called The Geese and the Ghost. And yeah, that's funny. I haven't thought about that. That's the first song I ever learned, and it's just a variation on a D chord with some moving into a C+9 and a G. But that would be the first thing I ever played on a guitar. Yeah. Shortly after is probably something like punk, like some Blink 182 or something like probably most likely. But I also learned I was fortunate to have a very good mentor, Tom Lagana. I believe he's up in the Towson area still. He's a phenomenal jazz artist. Um, but yeah, we were learning. We jumped in pretty quick to actually learning musical notation, and then we spend about a third of the lesson on stuff that I was really into at the time.
All right. What would you classify, your music, and we're going to get into that, but what would you classify, what genre of music would you say Ben Dahan produces?
So still really coming together. I've only been doing this as a solo artist for about a year and a half now. But I would say it's all indie. Um, and pop punk adjacent, like early 2000s, like pop punk, pop rock.
Mhm.
Uh, the thing that people tend to say the most is it's something new, but it feels familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something new that feels familiar. So
Mhm.
one of the things that I think we really have in common, in which Heidi, she was
Oh
actually
yeah, Heidi. Yeah.
when I first started some two years ago. She was on the show, and she will tell you I am quick to put folks on the spot, so to speak. So hopefully you're ready. She actually was saying she was on around my birthday, so she
Yeah.
actually sang happy birthday to me. So
Oh really? All right. Yeah, Heidi's amazing. Yeah.
my team says that they're looking to. He was like, well, maybe he could play his guitar or something. So we
Yeah.
might, see what happens with that.
All right. Okay.
But as we talk about music, one of the things that my team wanted me to listen to. So days go by.
Hmm.
That song. What is the meaning behind that song?
It's basically, straight up about the girl that I'm with right now, and I plan on spending the rest of my life with her. I probably met her a couple months prior to that, and I remember the night I got back from the studio, like I had like all the music, and I was like, whoa, I, I don't know, it was just like my favorite thing I'd ever recorded. There was something special about it, and I was flying out to Portland the next day, and I've never been afraid of flying. And I had this weird feeling like, because like I wrote all the lyrics like in my head, listening in my garage, in a matter of like 30 minutes, I think. And just because like they came like so quickly and naturally to me, and I was like, I just going back to the plane thing, I was afraid, like I was like, I don't want to like die before this song gets out because it means so much to me. You know what I'm saying? Like not that I thought I would, but like it's the first time I've ever had that feeling. So the meaning behind it is, and it could be taken for a relationship with a romantic partner. It could be friends, like a group of friends. But it's really a meaningful relationship that you have, and um, really like just about like it doesn't matter what we're doing as long as like we're doing it together, and like you know there's that line like I could just be there, like I
Mhm.
can just if we're just hanging out and just be there, like I can
Yeah, you can be in that space, but not be in your space. Type.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
No,
So
that's dope. So it's like a tribute to this woman that you met, and have you sung it for her?
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
No.
We play music together too. She plays cello on almost all the stuff. She's actually in the song. If you listen to the bridge, there's a one little like cello piece, and that's her. Mhm.
Nice, nice. Now the bridge. So you mentioned terminology. For those that's watching, we are here live, beexposedradio.com with musician Ben Dahan. So when you say bridge, I know a little bit about music, but for
Mhm.
those that's watching and might not necessarily know that terminology, what are you speaking of?
So typical song structure goes, verse,
Mhm.
chorus, verse, chorus, and then the bridge is kind of what it's my favorite part of the song. It ties everything together, and so it's towards the end of the song. It's kind of like a different thought on the things that you said before. And in my opinion, yeah, I mean it ties everything together, and then usually followed by a double chorus or some type of outro.
Okay.
But I don't know if that was a good way to explain it. Um, how would you explain a bridge? I don't.
Well, I mean, I think you're the musician, so I'm a firm believer in leaning on the experts and I stay in my lane. If you ask me something about radio and things about that, but I think you explained it pretty well.
Perfect.
Bridge, hook, sometimes folks call it different things. So, okay, that's interesting. So would you say in terms of, tell us, like, have you had an opportunity, again, being in a year and some change, have you had an opportunity to perform live in different areas before COVID? I know things have changed, but have you been able to perform live?
Sure. So unfortunately, as Ben DeHaan solo, I have not. I was just getting ready to, excuse me, start playing out and performing live, but literally, I mean,
COVID.
as I was getting into that, unfortunately, COVID hit. But prior to that, I had, done very extensive touring, in my younger years, and, playing out. So I don't like 18 to 22, I was touring pretty much full time. And then from like 22 to 26 or 7, I was doing the bar circuit playing like covers and originals. And then actually to back up, yes, my other band, American Diary, did play at Metro Art Gallery in September of 2019. Yeah, because they're out in Oregon. They flew out here so we could do a single with Matt Squire. And then while they were out here, we actually did play a show. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's piggyback on that. So, because pretty much none of the questions I ask are random. It's kind of a method to it.
All right.
About the Van Warped Tour. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, I mean, it was an amazing experience. It was a grueling one, but it's definitely earned information, like, and from sweat equity. It was not an easy tour to do in a van. But that lineup that year was just so crazy. I mean, it was like Katy Perry's first ever tour. I remember she was the only person that she had her face on the bus, and I was like, "Who's that?" It was Katy Perry, and I was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "What's I Kissed a Girl?" I didn't know yet. But then, I mean, she hit that summer, and I mean, so many bands. I mean, All Time Low, who are also from Baltimore. A Day to Remember, 303. I think Paramore was on part of it. I mean, the list goes on and on. Angels and Airwaves. And I got to actually meet and spend time with one of my childhood heroes, Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, who is the singer for Angels and Airwaves. And yeah, it was kind of wild, very wild.
So let's stay on that area of performing, right? So you've played in bars and lounges, you've played concerts and tours. Do you get nervous before a performance?
It depends on my level of preparedness, I suppose. I think it's all about familiarity, in my opinion. And if
the area, the environment.
Yeah, like the more you can familiarize yourself with something, like the more it just becomes like natural. For example, like I had a really hard time pushing myself to start doing live streams because it's something that I'd never done before. And I was like, well, how do I interact with, people in this format and all these questions? And really, actually, the person that pushed me, she was like, you need to just stop making excuses and do it, was Lauren, the person, that I wrote Days Go By about. And, I definitely, I tell her, now I do it every week, and now it's no big deal to me. But it's just through getting those reps in. It gets easier. There's definitely still nerves, but not like they are in the beginning.
Absolutely. Do you have like a routine that you go? Because I think, at the end of the day is you want, knowing your audience, kind of keeping them engaged, keeping them hype. And, know, but do you have a routine that you go? Because I have a routine when on my show, every day before my show. And it's different. I'm not in the studio, in the station, but I have a routine that I do Wednesdays that kind of gets me going. Monty really helps me get through that. Do you have a routine that gets you going?
I that's funny because like I had a different routine, and I'd really have to pull to remember when I was playing out live in front of bigger audiences. But I do kind of have a routine. I haven't thought about it, but I do. I use the steamer. There's a steamer for like my voice that it just clears my sinuses and stuff. Probably about 10 minutes prior. And then, I don't know, swig some Listerine. I don't know. It's nothing crazy. It's not really locked down yet, but those two things are big. And I will stand out and, have my last cigarette before doing my stream.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So we're wondering here, and folks, do you happen to have the guitar handy? You can play a little something for us?
I do. What would you guys? What would you be interested in?
I can cue it up for you, and I can get the audience hype and get them ready. So, while you want to grab the guitar, that's up to you, or you can hit us with a little something.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. So, folks, you are watching live here on Living a Rich Life talk show. I'm here exclusively, beexposedradio.com. We have Ben DeHaan, and he's going to play us a little something. So he's went and got his guitar. Folks might have heard me say a guitar. You can't play without your guitar string, but it is Be Exposed Radio. So we like to see what our guest can do, and hopefully he'll inspire you to, get jumping. So without further ado, we're going to have Mr. Ben DeHaan play us a little something. I think
Sorry, Rich. I just gotta get tuned up here.
Absolutely. I've seen this done. It's done, That's what they have rehearsed and things of that nature. When you practice right, you gotta.
Oh my God! Yeah. That's such a big thing. Because if you're playing playing everything perfectly, if you're out of tune, like it's still not going to sound good. All right. Put me on the spot, Rich.
All right. This is the Exposed Radio, baby. This is what we're.
I don't know.
Fun. And I'm gonna introduce you, and then you can tell us what you're gonna sing. How about that?
That sounds good. I don't know how it's gonna sound with me on the headphones, but I'll
make it work.
I'll make it work.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here to perform exclusively on Living a Rich Life talk show. This is beexposedradio.com. Please welcome my guest, Maryland-based indie singer-songwriter. And again, he's been heard on Spotify in 70 countries. Welcome the sounds of Mr. Ben DeHaan.
Song's called Days Goodbye. Hopefully I can remember it. Just kidding. All right.
I think I might need a mission. I think I might need to quit. I think I don't know what I need, and now it's making me sick. I'm only happy as the days go by. When we're together, I can lose my mind. And so forever, I can take my time and just be there. I'm only happy if the days go by. When we're together, I can lose my mind. It's so forever with you. Like that night in Corvallis, we ate those mushrooms with my band, and I can still feel the solid. See the siren in my head, and that's the way we'll stay. On one of these days, wanna every feeling, always wanted to stay. Now I'm here to say, I'm only happy as the days go by. When we're together, I can lose my mind. It's so forever, I can take my time and just be there. I'm only happy if the days go by. When we're together, I can lose my mind. It's so forever with you. It's so forever with you and me together. I can't stop whether I don't care if it's raining. It's so forever with you. Let's do whatever we do. It's so forever with you. Let's do whatever we do. It's so forever with you. And as the years go by, we could take our time and we could lose our minds. I'm only happy as the days go by. When we're together, I can lose my mind. It's so forever, I can take my time and just be there. I'm only happy as the days go by. When we're together, I can lose my mind. It's so forever with you. It's so forever with you. Thank you.
Yes. I can see why my team picked that song and picked that out of anything. So thank you. You heard it here live, exclusive, Living a Rich Life talk show. So how do you balance between the music and sounds like your partner is part of the music, so that makes it easy.
She is such an integral part of all of this. I mean, I always tell her, without her, it'd be very hard to do this. But I mean, how do I balance? Right now, at the stage that I'm at, the real answer is that it's a little bit off balance, and sometimes, in order to, I don't know, achieve bigger things, I think sometimes some things have to go off balance, and because it's just a lot right now, and it's becoming more and more the more traction that I get, and I want to connect with every person and have every conversation, but I guess my answer to that would be the best way to, I guess, do the best job at balancing that you can to mitigate or offset the unbalance would be to prioritize.
Right.
Prioritize, know what's moving the needle and what's not, and also what's important too.
Absolutely.
Don't let go of your important. What really matters, your health, your friendships, your relationships, your your wealth. All
Are
that stuff.
there well, is there anyone in particular you would like to do a collaboration with at this point?
All right.
All about Ben DeHaan.
No, not at all. It's not all about Ben DeHaan. It's all about the music community. And I touched on this before on a podcast, but I don't think you get to be a really great artist without having first been a fan. There are plenty of people that I would love to collaborate with, and I've connected with many in Baltimore, and we will plan on doing that here directly. So
Okay, couple of local folks that you look so. But it's okay to drop names, because that's okay.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if you're asking on a local level or.
I'm working in any level. That's the one thing about living a rich life. I've interviewed some of the national folks, at a very high level that pretty much everybody knows, and I've interviewed folks. Now I'm not going to say at a lower level, but have yet to be recognized at a global level. So it doesn't matter for me, right? I think just in terms you might have in your vision, there's certain folks I like to have on my show, and I have, and a lot of those folks are DMV folks, right? So there's always in my mind, hey, I want to have this person on my show, and not necessarily because they, have a certain status, but because they actually inspire me to continue to move. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Appreciate that. And
yeah,
your podcast is very inspiring with the guests that you've had on. I was able to watch, and you keep doing what you're doing. We're all grateful. But to answer, I guess, I'd love to do a collaboration with like the Dangerous Summer. They're from Baltimore as well. I actually just did an EP with the guy that recorded their last full length. They have a new EP out now, but the one before this, and that EP for me won't come out until like April. But I think they would be really fun to do a collaboration with. I've known them since back in the American Diary days, like back when I was 18, 19, 20. So we were kind of in like the same, similar evolution.
What advice would you give to, folks that are looking to get into this industry? They might be nervous. What advice would you give someone trying to get into the music industry? Write music, whatever that looks like. What advice would you give someone?
I would say just start doing something. It depends based on where you're at. But most important, first and foremost, is your content. And by content, I mean your music, right? Like, I feel like it's easy to get lost in like everything else these days, in the social media world with like videos and pictures. And yes, there's so much more to add to it. But I would say carve out, if you're trying to build a habit, spend 15 minutes a day, week one, Monday through Friday, picking that guitar up and singing. It doesn't matter. You don't have to finish something. Just do it at the same time every day for that 15 minutes. And then grow the next week to 20 minutes. And then grow to 30 minutes. And then say, okay, I'm going to finish a song. And it doesn't have to be good, but I'm committed to the process of, showing up every day and doing this. And the byproduct of which will be, I don't know. I mean, it has such a tremendous impact. Stephen Pressfield writes about it in The War of Art. And I've heard many successful musicians and artists and business professionals, athletes, speak to the process and building those habits. That's my advice. Yeah. And then just go for it because nobody really cares. Like you think you're gonna look stupid, but I mean, nobody cares yet. I mean, maybe, like if you're huge and like you mess up, like that's different. But like you deal with that when you get there, right?
What's that bridge?
Yeah.
Nice. One of the things I always ask my guests, it's never a trick question. What does living a rich life mean to you?
To me, living a rich life means having, at the end of the day, I want to look back and know that I didn't shy away from fear, that I did the things that scare me, that I took the chances, that I live with integrity, and that I built meaningful relationships, and I feel full. And I hope that I've helped other people as well, my friends and my family and maybe others, and that I've had some type of positive impact on this world rather than taking away from it.
That's dope. That's dope. What drives you? So I want to stay on this music tip before we close out. What drives you to continue to writing music, right? And I ask that question because some days I don't feel like doing the show.
Yeah,
I don't
totally. Yeah.
I still have to do it. Still have to make it happen because folks actually, I've come to learn they're looking to hear, see who my guests are. They're looking to actually, and they support me. So whether it's 5 or 500, it doesn't matter to me because I'm still sharing a message.
That's right.
At this point in time. So what drives you to continue writing music?
The fact that I love writing music, but like you, there are days that, it's just like, I really am not feeling it today, but,
just press forward.
I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I just do. I just do it. It's like, I don't always want to go to the gym, on the days that I have set up, but like, I do it anyway. Like, and
I ain't there yet with the gym.
Yeah, it's hard for sure. It's that, and obviously like the fans and the great feedback that I get from a lot of people that say, some of my songs, the lyrics and stuff, that it helps them. And so that definitely too, if I can have a positive impact.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's be sure that we share with our viewers, whether they're watching live now, we'll definitely send you the link to share with your folks. Let's share your social media contacts for anyone that might want to try to book you or want to get in contact with you, to work with you. How can they do that?
So it's at I am Ben Dahan. So IAM Ben, D as in David, EHAN, like Nancy, Ben Dahan. That's my Twitter handle, Instagram, Facebook, and I think it's my TikTok. I had to get started with it, like I gotta be in that game. So, yeah.
TikTok. Oh.
Yeah.
Fan of TikTok, because TikTok, right? They just, I don't know. Wait, what are your thoughts on TikTok? This is a sidebar. What are your thoughts?
Well, I really liked, what was it called? There was I'm blanking on it right now. God, there was like a short video clip app before this, and I was a big fan of it. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's fine. What I think about it is a new avenue to reach people. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Okay. So Snapchat, you on Snapchat?
Yeah, I mean, I hardly ever use it though. My Snapchat is Ben-Dahan.
Okay.
The only time I use it is if like somebody asks me if I'm on there, and then I think last night I logged in there for the first time in like 2 months. But
Okay.
maybe should I get more active with Snapchat? Is that popping right
Yeah,
now?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of. I say I'm not a fan. That's not a avenue that I use. My my marketing director right now. I just pulled on somebody new, and I was she handles all that stuff. So she's got a new
Okay.
look. You've seen the flyers for.
Yeah, it looks so professional. Yeah.
It's a totally new look. That's all on her, right? So she, I got again,
Wow.
as good as your team. You're as good as your team.
Yeah.
So,
Totally. She's doing a great job.
yeah, she's probably watching. She might be watching, or she'll be working on something for me. That's what she should be doing. That's what she should be doing. So another question I like to ask is your superpower. I think we all have a superpower. What would you say is Ben DeHaan's superpower?
I think my superpower, what do I think it is right now, or what would I think my superpower is my creativity, and I don't know. It's like when I tap into that flow state and that passion, it seems to connect somehow.
Okay. Well, it's always never enough time. I was looking at a quick message. I want to thank you for joining.
Oh, thank you for having me.
This has been fun. I will definitely be sure to share the link, which usually, again, my producer, he puts together just like that. And we'll send that. I want to make sure we stay in touch, stay connected, either, via email, or I believe my direct telephone number was included at some point. I think my team included my direct number. So I see big things. I got to say, Days Go By, that was one song we picked out particularly. So I like that sound. I wish you continued success, Ben, and stay focused and continue to be inspired to live a rich life.
I appreciate that, Rich, and same to you.
Thanks for joining. All right, folks, you've heard it first here. We've had Ben DeHaan, BeExposedRadio.com. We have our second guest coming up, and she is a phenomenal individual. Now, while we wait for her to join, we'd like to give you some information because, again, it's all about good health, strong relationships, financial freedom, goals and achievement, and extraordinary experiences. So I want to just share some information regarding good health, just to make sure folks understand. It's more of a community update. So first and foremost, Maryland has started rolling out the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine will be given out in phases, with the first being healthcare workers and first responders, as well as some patients who had a higher risk for the disease. So just to share that information, again, we're talking good health. What you need to know before we introduce our second guest for the night, the vaccines will not give you COVID-19, okay? The vaccines work to prevent you from getting seriously ill to the COVID-19, and mild side effects are normal, including injection site, fatigue, fever, muscle aches, headaches, and chills. So that is Living a Rich Life, recent events. That's the good health segment. So please, folks, stay healthy, and let's keep it going here on BeExposedRadio.com. So our featured guest today, she is an actress, model, host, and writer. She is a lover of life and art of all forms. She has appeared on the Toll Booth series, Angrily Ever After, and will appear in an upcoming film called The Detour. Please welcome the amazing, the multi-talented Miss Lydia Washington.
Hi.
You look to the side like you were looking for me.
Hello, I was like, wait, where is he? Oh, hello, like that.
Nice. Well, welcome.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you. So first and foremost, how are you doing during this pandemic? Because we're still in a pandemic, they say.
We are. I'm I'm doing well. I think during this time, for all of my fellow social butterflies, it's kind of, it can be somewhat of a dark place, but if you have your pod of people, your social media, your different ways you choose to connect and express your art. I think it can almost be real therapeutic almost. So yeah,
As I like to say,
us social butterflies are trying to thrive. We're trying to make it.
and that we are one way or the other. One way or the other.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. So we want to talk acting, we want to talk modeling, we want to talk writing, and I want to start with writing. Because first and foremost, I think initially I said I know this is an actress, but I know the one thing that my team had pulled up some information on you, and then they're gonna kill me. It was surrounding something you wrote. Who is she to you?
Oh gosh. Your team does research.
That they do.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for that writing? Because they actually made me sit down and watch the whole thing entirely.
Well, the poem, it was a piece that I kind of feel like was partially lived and partially watched, like as I've seen a mix of whether it's like the little girls in my life, even like growing up myself, and then seeing just hearing people's stories as adults, and kind of almost mixing it all together, so like a conglomerate of so many different girls, and what and who they are and who they mean to you. It's not just one person. I grew up a latchkey kid, in the 90s. And so, when you're getting off the bus and, handling your business, you come in, you do your homework, you're taking care of yourself. But at the same time, you're looking up to the women in your lives, getting ready for work, or seeing, how other people can impact, have such an impact on little girls, and just seeing them transition. Now, when I write, I like to write in story form. So in this specific story, you can see this little girl progress through her life, and some things aren't as pleasant, but nonetheless, the overall story is that it's never too late to make a difference in a young lady's life. And it's I think it's a powerful piece, and
Very powerful.
Yes,
very powerful. I have a daughter, and I'm going to have her watch it. But it's definitely very, very powerful, and I recommend those watching and listening live here on Be Exposed Radio that you take a look at that.
Thank you.
Who is she to you?
Yes.
By Lydia Washington. Okay. Let's shift gears a little.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the acting piece.
Yes.
Okay. Where shall we start? Shall we start with Angry Ever After? Shall we start with Toll Booth? Shall we start with Up and Coming, the Detour? I'll let you decide, because I got questions for all.
I think, well, I can start most recently with the Detour. That was something that was a project. Big shout out to Derek Gray, who was the writer, director. He acted in it. I nicknamed him Showbiz the Kid, because he literally does it all. He's such a talent. I hope you actually get a chance to talk to him. And he comes up with these stories, these lines, and he brings these characters to life. And the fact that I was casted for the main character, Melanie Hilliard, it says a lot, and it means a lot that he would trust me with the vision of this full film. So I'm super excited. It's in post-production now. It should be, I think, ready this summer, and it will be on Amazon Prime. So I'm super stoked about it.
As am I. I have Amazon Prime, so I'll definitely be checking it out.
Please do.
Definitely. So what sort of person is going to love so let me rephrase. What sort of person is going to love your character in The Detour? What type of person? Tell us a little about that.
Anyone who is a fan of love. Like, I mean, it's a romantic comedy. You get to see, this character kind of go through this process, like all stories do. You get to see the changes. You get to see everything that she goes through, just from making a small detour, a small turn down the wrong path, and it turns out the things that ensue. They just make her who she is, and you get to grow to love her character. or I would hope you get to grow to love her character and, you know, all of the things that she goes through. But the person who would be rooting for her, I would think would be the person rooting for love, the person who's just, you know, advocate of finding yourself within the journey and finding love along the way.
Okay, so we have a phone call. Go ahead, Monty, let that call through.
Hello?
Are you there, caller?
Hi, this is Lucy.
Hello,
my
Lucy.
question-
Rich James.
Hi,
Life. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. First
you
of
have a
all,
question?
I have to say that Miss Washington is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And I had a question about how difficult it is for you. I'm assuming that you're in the DMV area
Mhm.
pursuing acting.
How difficult? You mean like getting a gig or auditioning? What
Yes,
do you, can you be
all
more
of it,
specific?
yes.
So I think the question is surrounding auditions. How difficult it is being in the DMV to get auditions.
I think the biggest thing about auditioning in this area is kind of where you're searching, and also a mix of like a big piece of advice that was given to me, and like one huge part is just like your level of preparation. So like if you have professional headshots, it's going to show. If you're taking acting classes, and a quick shout out, Mark McKinnon, who is my acting coach. I don't know if you've heard of McKinnon Acting Studio, but he offers classes for beginners to intermediate classes. But if you're offering, you know, this package of your acting toolbox, you know, headshot, you know, classes, you're showing up professionalism, your resume. I feel like that's a huge start just to kind of getting in the door, because you still have to show up with the talent, you still have to show up with the skill, you still have to do the work. But overall, like those things make a huge difference. And that's just in this area, because this area isn't huge in work, but I feel like if you're getting your foot in the door and you actually have like a solid toolbox, it helps immensely. And it shows your casting directors, it shows the people who are around and watching that you're serious about your craft. So that plays like that's a true foundation to even, you know, getting started.
Does that answer your call?
It
Your question?
absolutely does.
Okay.
It absolutely does. Thank you for that.
No problem. Thank you for your question. Again, you know, if you're interested in acting classes, I've been acting for a while, but to hone in on like the craft, you know, McKinnon Acting Studio is like my home, and I absolutely love Mark McKinnon and what he does for the community as far as acting classes, and just how he shows up in his professionalism to help so many others in the DMV area.
Nice. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Right. So let's keep it going with the detour. So, you know, how is this character like you, and as well as what's different about this character?
So Melanie is the character, and I can say we're a lot alike in the sense that we're both quite quirky. I have my ways. My friends that know me can tell you that you know, I have my moments, but for the most part, she's fun, but she also is very professional, and she's about her business. She really takes pride in her work, and knowing that she's not like waiting for some Prince Charming to rescue her, but at the same time, she's open to love, but is still trying to like stick to the plan that she has for her life. I think I am like her in a lot of ways, but just like on the quirkiness of, you know, who she is, and, you know, growing to love her within the movie. But where we differ, I believe, is kind of like how strict she is in the sense of, why am I supposed to be like this? You know, like you have this regiment of how things are exactly supposed to be, and
OCD behavior almost.
What'd you say?
OCD behavior.
A little bit. I think I'm a little more relaxed when it comes to certain things, but I think people change, and that's one of the great things about the movie is you get to see her evolution throughout the whole thing. So
I love those words. You know, people can change, things change. That's a big component of living a rich life.
I think that nothing talks to change more than the fact that you can have matching masks to go with your ensemble, because we live in a world of COVID, and we have to adapt with the changes. This is life now, right?
Absolutely. As a comedian said, though, I remember you don't see too many Louis Vuitton masks or or Coach. I'm like, yeah, because none of that's on the website. All right. Okay.
I'm sure someone's selling it though. It's out there. You've seen it. You've seen it. I've seen it.
as have I. As have I. Oh goodness, I love it. What makes a good scene partner? All right. What makes a good scene partner?
A great scene partner, I think there's just a level of authenticity. You know, I feel like your eyes always tell the story. So, you know, if there's like a level of truth and for someone to be genuine, I think preparation is a huge part of it. My scene partner for the movie The Detour, Malcolm, he is amazing. The character's name is Ben, and he just brings Ben to life. And you know, we had great chemistry on set, and I really appreciate that that he came in with the challenges of just the lack of time we both did, but at the end we really kind of brought it together. And that's what to me makes this movie so magical, is just how great the crew was. Our crew was amazing. Our assistant director, Percy, just amazing. Just makeup artists, like everyone worked together. Mind you, we also worked together on a COVID set. So like for us to get tested, right. You know, we're masked, we're trying to social distance, but knowing that we have to trust each other. We're staying within our pods of people because we're, you know, so tight for so long. It just made the difference. So it kind of like really brought it together, and it really tied into the environment. So it was a mix of the environment, but like a true scene partner, they're authentic. But it was really easy to do because our whole cast was nothing but authentic. We just had so much fun on set, and like when it was over, we were like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss you." Oh, like it was almost very it was just really authentic in how everyone moved, and it helped with the environment of the set, and you could feel it, you know,
things being natural and organic.
Oh, definitely.
That's a word that I use a lot. I like for conversations to be organic.
Right.
Just let it flow. Just let it flow.
Let it flow.
Let's get a little personal. So when you're not acting, you're not modeling, you're not writing, tell us what does Lydia Washington do?
Oh, Lydia Washington. I like to read. I love to read. I will veg out in front of the TV sometimes. I have been, over the winter months, and little quarantine I like to eat, so like I indulge a little bit sometimes. That can get you in trouble, but I do like to work out, so that's a great thing. I love being active, and I love to travel, and that has been like the dagger in my heart, not being able to travel a lot. Like my passport is one of my best friends. We go everywhere together, and it's just, that was kind of sad to put her away, but for the most part, it's really about staying safe. I'm really close with my family, so I spend time with them. I have like I said, my little tribe of friends that I'm close with during this time, and their kids, hanging out with their kids. So I take advantage of the Zooms and just the time that I can spend with the people I love. And, it means a lot to be able to have that quality time, and, spend that time, with friends and loved ones, and, doing the things I love most.
Nice. We won't get too deep on that, but, I think it's a good, for folks to understand who you are, not mm-hmm. just as a professional actress, writer, but get a sense of who you are as an individual. So thanks for sharing.
No problem.
Thanks for sharing. Now, you mentioned travel. You don't get to travel too much these days, but I assume it's difficult sometimes when you're, we were rehearsing for this production, The Detour.
Right.
Because again, we had COVID now for almost a year, right?
Yeah.
Last place you traveled? What was the last
place I traveled? actually, I got a quick little getaway. I ran off to Tulum, and it was quite fabulous. I had a great time. I mean, there's so much safety. I think I had so much anxiety about going, but there's so many people who are working extremely hard to make environments safe, to make you feel safe, because and working really hard so that COVID's safe. Now, since then, the numbers have gone up ridiculously. I feel like the time period that I went was kind of like it was a little tiny magical time period when the numbers were going down, and like for me personally, there was just like a time that I realized that that was what I needed for my mental health.
Right.
If you're going safe, that's huge. And protecting yourself, because you're protecting your family. I came back, I took a COVID test, I was negative, and right after that, I actually started production for the Detour, which all of us, we had to come in with tests anyway. So it kind of worked out. I got a little refresher before we got to work, and yeah. So, but I've had trips canceled. Then my birthday is in March, so this will technically be my second birthday in quarantine. But I mean, it's sad because trips were canceled. I usually go to
March what?
March 16th. I'm a Pisces. Go Pisces. My sister and I, her birthday's in March too, and we usually are in Jamaica or some island for our birthdays. That got canceled. I was supposed to go to Bali. That was canceled. Cruise, that was canceled. So by the time Tulum came, it was like, I need it. I'm taking it. I'm going. So great times. It was really great, on time for me.
Okay. Yeah. The place to go now, U.S. Virgin Islands. The numbers are extremely low, extremely low, if they even exist. So
don't threaten me with a good time. I will book a ticket today. You hear me? Let's go. I'm first flight smoking out. Like I will be gone.
I know that's right. We're gonna keep it personal / professional here. So what attracted you to begin a career as an actress? What attracted you?
Passion. I think originally it was really play. It was just fun. I've been acting since I was first grade. What's that, 6th? I was in a school play. I auditioned, I got it, and I was in the lovely rendition of Stone Soup as Laura, the local villager girl, and I had a whole little solo, and I had a spotlight and a microphone, and it's been heaven since then. That was something that was huge to me, and ever since then, I think every year there was a play or some type of production, I was in it, or I was auditioning, or I had to put my hand in it. So that's kind of like where it started, was just school. And of course, even if I had to go back before that, it would be performing for my sister, my parents. You're going to watch me on, I'm going to do this play. Look at me, Mom, Dad, look at me, or even I had my talk show. So, interviewing my Barbies and my dolls, and pulling in my special guests, my sister and my neighbors, making them be in part of the production. It was a real life situation, and you couldn't tell me different.
And the one thing, so you've also done a couple of commercials.
I have. Well, I mean, being younger, I think I was pulled into a commercial. I think it was for like TGIF. Do you remember TGIF?
I do. And I just watched it yesterday. You had braids.
So there's 2 different commercials going on. My first one, which was my first real live network television commercial, was for ABC. It was for TGIF, and that was the first time being actually on camera, where people were calling my parents. I just saw Lydia on TV, and you were like, all right, I had a whole moment. But then just getting older and trying to be more within the acting community in the DMV, I had a commercial recently. It was a Christmas commercial, for a Christmas shopping commercial.
That's it.
And it's crazy because
that was good. It was very good.
It's local, so you know, some of my friends will see it, some won't. I think my friends closer to Baltimore won't, but some in DC, they did see it, and that was fun. That was a really fun, quick commercial that I had a blast in, and
That's a good.
the producer, he reached out to me, and we made it work. He was amazing, and I mean, I love commercials. If I could do more, I definitely, you'll see me. Hopefully, okay. I'll have more in the future.
And I see that happening. I see that happening. So those that's watching, we are live here on Be Exposed Radio with the lovely and talented Miss Lydia Washington. Tell them how they could follow you on your social media.
So I can be found at Lydia Love, LYDIA, Lydia Love, LOVE 316. And that's on Instagram, and that is also, where else am I? On Twitter. And Instagram is my main account. So you can follow me on Lydia Love 316 on Instagram. So I'm super excited about that, and I'll try to follow back.
All right. Question for you came in. If someone was going to make your life into a movie, who would you want to play you?
You know, I absolutely love actress Tessa Thompson. I think she is brilliant, and she is my favorite. I mean, between drama, I've seen her do the fun, snarky type of comedy. I've seen her, act with Thor. Like, I think she's amazing. And if I had to pick someone, she'd definitely be my go-to actress. Like, love her. I would love to work with her. I would love to meet her.
Which was the follow-up? Would you love to meet her or work with her, or both?
Both, all of it. And thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and manifest that now.
Hey, you got to speak it into existence. That's
Hello. Can we say that? Say that again. So when I speak to you next time, I'll be telling you how I'll be. Yeah, Tessa Thompson and I, we work together. Yeah, that's the BFF. We hang out all the time now, right?
Which hopefully you'll do. Rich, we're sending you some tickets for whatever premiere.
Hey, you can come. We can make it. Everyone can come. Just bring it on. Your whole team. Let's go.
Oh, okay. We're a small team, but we're a good team.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. Now, of all the roles, because we didn't talk too much about I want to stick with the most recent, the Detour. However, me personally, I've enjoyed the Toll Booth series because again, there's a few folks that we both know that are in there, and actually 2 guests from there have been on my show.
Awesome.
So of all the roles you've planned in the past, which was your favorite?
I would still, I mean, in the theme of keeping with the current, still, I'd have to say Melanie Hilliard, like the main character in the Detour. Like, she's like, I feel like I had some range and fun with choices of being goofy, because I mean, I'm a goofball. Of being like having a chance to be funny. Director gave a lot of free reign to be like kind of who I was, but making the character mine. So she has a really special place in my heart, and I have to say her. She's a favorite. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you, Rich. She's my favorite.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So outside of we have the Detour that's coming. It's in production, as you mentioned. What's next for Lydia Washington?
Next for Lydia Washington. I mean, it's just interesting right now. I think with the COVID thing, and it's funny because the guest was just asking. The person who called in, she was asking it. How do you do that in this time period? A lot of it's auditioning, because you have to do self-tape auditions. So I'm busy working on that. Currently writing. I know there's some. I have a couple friends who are working on some up-and-coming projects. Shout out to Percy for trying to get things started. I know some people, and my girlfriend Brave. I know she's in a lot of different things, and I know she's working on her own a few things. So a lot of things, even if you can't like you're not necessarily breaking into. We're in the market of making things your own and making things, started happening. I think Issa Rae is a perfect example of make it happen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think a mix of my own writing and just keep on pushing out there. There's workshops that I'll be attending, and I'm just really looking forward to being a part of future projects with auditions. So.
And you're still writing. You're still writing poetry and.
I do. It's just again kind of with the travel thing. I talk about the social butterfly. I have friends who actually tonight they are going to Busboys and Poets, which is it's a local chain, but they have an open mic for people who sing, people who do comedy, for people who do poetry, and there's famous poets that have stopped by and they're there for the open mics. They have featured poets. They have all these people available for open mic, but they shut it down because of COVID. So we write not always to perform. Sometimes it's just very cathartic to write, but sometimes I miss the stage.
Well, they have something like that in Baltimore now also. I had the guest Lioness, and she is it's a place at the garage, and they have the open mic. I forgot the name of it, but we'll talk. I think you might have heard.
I think I just found out about it. I think they do they have music. I have a friend, his name is Sheldon, and I think he's in it. There's bass players, and there's music, and there's open mic. But I know some people are just kind of funny about the distance. But I mean, I've seen different things where they have people literally spread out, and you can still perform, which is the heart of art.
Absolutely. So there's two questions I always like to ask, and I make sure I get them in. One, what does living a rich life mean to you? So we'll ask that one first. What does living?
Oh wow. Living a rich life to me is really about being authentic and your favorite word, and organic. Just really being able to be 100% who you are and comfortable in that. And it could be a journey, depending on the things you've been through, the potential hurt or the potential gain, because people change, people shift, but overall, being 100% comfortable in your skin, regardless of what anyone else thinks or what people want you to be, and being happy and content in that for yourself and for your community and for your families. I think that's the definition of just rich.
Okay. That wasn't a trick question. Another question, because I believe all of us as individuals, just like I believe people can change, I believe that we all have a superpower. So tell us, Lydia Washington, what is your superpower?
Oh, my superpower. Oh, I don't.
You can't say you don't have one.
No, I have one. I have more than one. Thank you very much.
Nice. Touche.
I have multiple superpowers because one of them is eating without gaining weight. I know that's definitely one of them.
I love it.
That's not the main one though, because let's see, what would it be? Superpower. I would probably want to the nerd mind is going, because I'm thinking Thanos and Infinity Stones and all these different little the moving pieces of every single thing in Marvel. What would it be? Probably a mix of multiple pieces. I'll pick one. I'll probably be some type of transportation or ability to transport. Okay. That would be a main one. But don't forget about the eating without gaining weight. That one. That one's the one we really want.
I got you. Duly noted. So, there's never enough time. But I want to thank you for joining the show. I want to thank you for
having me.
Any advice you would give to someone that's looking to get into the acting, modeling, writing, Acting, I think I know folks seem to be interested in acting right now.
Just start. Just do it. I have my girlfriend Brave. She's always like, we do like the countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Like, just do it. Just make the call. Just do whatever. Send the email. Just do it. It's tough. My girlfriend Honor, she's always saying the same thing, and I have friends within the community who've been a big part of what I've been doing, and I definitely have to say, like, get started as far as like actual acting, like a step. You could start with being extra. Right now that it's kind of tough with COVID, but just if you could be an extra, you can be on set somewhere. You're learning the jargon, you're getting to know the ins and outs of acting, putting together like trying to get some version of a headshot. Something's better than nothing, but the better you can get, I would definitely suggest that. And then if you can, try to get classes. And then also, people seem to underestimate, but don't forget about the power of YouTube University. Like, a lot of people have made that, a part of their toolbox. But, if you can get into good acting classes, doesn't have to be overly expensive. I definitely would suggest trying to take a couple acting classes, or even if you can get into like some level of community theater, just to get your feet wet. But that it's definitely a start. And when you build a community, like, things just start to come, especially if you're really going after what you really want. Things just like it'll start to come together. So,
well, you've heard it first here, straight out of Lydia Washington's mouth. And I think, again, you got to be consistent. So I want to take this time to thank Ben DeHaan for being our special guest. I want to thank you, Miss Lydia Washington.
Thank you.
Now is time for Living a Rich Life, a moment in time, and our closing remarks. And with that being said, I will say, we all sometimes think that everything has to be in order before we decide to commit to accomplishing our goals. As a result, we can miss out on what life has in store for us. Therefore, remember, life is good. However, enjoying life is better. Everything doesn't have to be perfect before you decide to enjoy your life. So again, thank you to my guests. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I want folks to stay focused, stay healthy, and continue to be inspired to live a rich life. Until next week, once again, this is Be Exposed Radio. I am your host, Rich James, and you are watching and listening to Living a Rich Life talk show. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and that's a wrap.